something. Ready? I'm ready if you are. Now we're going to put my guitar check. Let's get rid of this.
The room mic should pick you up, but you can use that one if you have.
Nothing to do.
Zoom.
Okay. Well, I think we're ready to get going. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and members of the clergy, and Rabbi Halpern. I'm Dave Lerner. I'm the president of the Mount Sinai Board of Directors. I want to welcome you and also thank you for attending our peace vigil tonight. Our vigil was prompted by the war in the Middle East, but the quest for peace has been a never-ending dream. We're not here tonight to talk causes or solutions to this latest conflict. Instead, we'll leave that to the politicians and historians. Instead, we want to recognize the horrible toll that war takes on everyone, especially innocent civilians. Civilians who just want to raise their families, who live good lives and look ahead to the future. Those civilians didn't deserve tragedy. Back in 1970, a musician named Edwin Starr wrote a song called War. I'd like to read some of the lyrics because I think they're appropriate today. Lyrics go, war, what is it good for? Absolutely nothing. War, what is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Say it again. War, what is it good for? Absolutely nothing. War I despise because it means destruction of innocent lives. War means tears to thousands of mothers' eyes when their sons go off to fight and lose their lives. Let me finish by quoting another famous musician from the same era, John Lennon, who famously sang, "All we are saying is give peace a chance." I'd like to turn things over now to Rabbi Halpern. Rabbi?
Well, first I want to, do you hear well? Yeah. No, not so well on this, but okay, I'll speak louder and then it's being picked up there. And to you guys at home, thank you as well. Got some people across the country. We're very, very moved by this. This is a peace vigil in the sense that, as Dave said, it's about loss of life, about innocent lives, and also, in a sense, this is our space in the synagogue. And so we did a balancing act. This came together last Monday at the Cheyenne Interfaith Council, partly as a result of previous weeks on Columbus Day, mind you, or Indigenous Peoples Day. Two of our Israeli members, Matani and Noam, pushed me and the sheriff and the city government and said, we got to have a vigil. And we met out in front of the state capitol in the cold, not terribly cold, but that had about 50 people. So that was a pro-Israel rally, no question about it. Today will be a little bit of both. My, not apologies, but simple kind of acknowledgement that on the page you have some poems and songs, some of which we may not use, but you can take them home. And if you didn't get a copy, I made some more. The speakers will be right here in the front row, Reverend Todd Scranton from First United Methodist. We had covered all the Methodists here. Patricia Bell from Frontier United Methodist, J.R. Atkins from Grace United Methodist. Okay. There are probably 5 more Methodist churches that I didn't know about. And Doug Fowler from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. See, I said Jesus Christ in the synagogue. Yeah, he was a nice Jewish boy. I, by the way, I did say on the program, please enter quietly and take your seat, but I haven't obeyed that myself. We do want you to hug and talk, and not talk, but hold hands with your loved ones. It's a time for us to be together. And the other reason why we felt it was important to do this was just that, to be together, to be holding each other in this time. So this is not my spot. I'm just kind of laying out the ground rules. We're not having any food. Jews without food? That's impossible. I mean, After services, no, but you're welcome to take a walk through the social hall. Most of you, raise your hand if you have not been in the sanctuary in Mount Sinai before. There you go. That's amazing. I thank you so much. So I'm just, emceeing a little bit. As I said, apologies for any typos or things. This is cheap print, but it'll get you through the idea. So without any further ado, I'm going to sing one song just to get us in the mood. Now, this is a song you can all learn, very easy. And Reverend Bell, I can call you Reverend Bell, Reverend Patricia, is going to sing a song later too. I also agonized whether to have purely English songs like Kumbaya or all the peace songs I grew up on the 60s, but it seems trite. So I want to introduce you to a very easy melody for the classic words right there on the page. Isaiah 2:4 or Micah also plagiarized them and took it for his own. And the words quite well, some of you, nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. But this is your first Hebrew lesson. All right, so try with me. Lo, Yisa, Goy. Don't be offended. Goy does not mean bad things, all right? It means nation, so that's the word nation. Lo Yisa Goy, try it together. Lo Yisa Goy, El Goy Cherev, and that's so you got to do like a Spanish chota, right? Cherev. So nation will not lift up sword against nation. And the second line, Lo Yilmedu, Lo Yilmedu, they will not learn. Od Milchama. So there's two versions. I'm going to do the slow one, which is kind of wistful, and then a little faster one, kind of like we will demand the end of war. And it's very easy, kind of. If you have enough people, you can do it in a round. Try that part. And that keeps going. The little lilting is optional. Just goes two notes. Now, if you're lazy, you want to keep doing that. That's fine. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. Now let's try the Hebrew again, and then I'm going to do the faster version. Lo Yisagoy El Goy Karav, Lo Yidu Od Biltama, Yisagoy El Goy Karav, Lo Yidu Od Biltama, Lo Yisagoy El Goy Karav. Clapping is good. God is like saying, what's happening? And everyone their vine and fig tree, victories and unafraid. And everyone who keeps their vine and fig tree shall live in peace and this is not on the page, but you can guess it. And into plowshares beat their swords, nations shall learn war no more. And into plowshares beat their swords, nations shall learn war no more. Hey, God, you're on. Oh, hey, hey, hey. Last thing I'll say is that we plan this to go from 7 to 8, and we will do that. So each of us is gonna keep our remarks brief. Is this mic working at all?
Yeah.
Okay,
Apparently. I
okay.
don't know if it's for Zoom or.
It's
both.
both.
Yeah, okay.
I'll use my theater voice too.
Mhm.
I'm the Reverend Todd Grant, and I'm the pastor at First United Methodist Church downtown. I'm also one of the current presidents of the Cheyenne Interfaith Council. So I want to thank you for being here this evening. And my way of being here is going to be a little bit different than my friend Moshe's. I struggled with what I would say tonight, and it struck me that perhaps the best thing to do is to say nothing, because it is one of the tragic truths of our human history that the words that we say about God have become some of the things that divide us more than anything else. And we have literally killed one another over the words we say about God. And so perhaps the best thing we can do as we gather here in this place of safety and quiet is to sit in silence for a time as we remember those who would love nothing more than to be in a place of safety and quiet. So I want you to invite you to share a time of silence with me, and I will close in a prayer. This prayer was written by Rabbi Sheila Weinberg of the Jewish community of Amherst, Massachusetts. Two peoples, one land, three faiths, one root, one earth, one mother, one sky, one beginning, one future, one destiny, one broken heart, one God. We pray to you
Grant us a vision of unity. May we see the many in the one and the one in the many. May you, life of all the worlds, source of all amazing differences, help us to see clearly. Guide us gently and firmly toward each other, toward peace. Praying together, may God hear our prayer. Amen.
My name is Pastor Patricia Bell. I have the honor to serve the people of Frontier United Methodist Church. On Sunday, October 15th, a week ago, a congregation member asked me what I thought about the situation in the Middle East 5 minutes before the service. At this point, a week ago Sunday, a terrorist group did some bombing. Now, I don't typically watch the news because I've been so disappointed in most newscasts with fake news and all, but I indeed heard about the bombing. When this congregation member asked me 5 minutes before the worship, I had to think fast. And my reply was, the older I get, the more questions I have, and the fewer answers I have. Now, most of us know that the Middle East has been the center of war since the days before Moses. Certainly, religion probably started 4 or 5 or 6,000, who knows, years ago. In the Jewish faith, of course, there's Father Abraham and Moses and many prophets. In the Christian faith, of course, there's Jesus. And then in the Islamic faith, that got started with Muhammad around 700 AD. These 3 monotheistic religions are very similar in their faith, in that all 3 believe in one God. But of course, there are extremist groups in all 3. Personally, I practiced obstetrics and gynecology for 25 years before I got the call to go into ministry. And most people think OB/GYN is happy medicine, right? Because we get to deliver babies. I indeed had the privilege of touching new life over 10,000 times in my career. I had the first human hands on a new life. But people don't like to think about the emotional pain when a couple has a miscarriage or a tubal, and especially if they have gone through infertility. Emotional pain, hurt, grief, and loss, they're all emotions that our culture is really not real fond to deal with. We'd rather be happy or joyful. But when that congregation member asked me that 5 minutes before service, reality has a way of slapping us in the face. I personally witnessed a young Jewish man telling a group of total strangers what he knew about the attack in the Middle East. Now, men in our culture often will not cry in front of strangers. And the only person he knew in this group was Rabbi Moshe. But his tears moved me that day. His tears moved me that day. I had no words. had no words. But I knew that all faith leaders needed to do something. Something. And as a pastor, all I could think of was we need to pray. Because I have more questions and less answers as I get older. And so here we are today. Here we are today. We are today here as a people unified who can understand what it is like to lose a family member. People who are hurt emotionally, physically, and spiritually. But we're also here today as a people of faith. We're here today to use the only weapon that I believe we believers have, and that is to pray and to understand God as each of us understand God. To bring peace to not only the Middle East, but to Ukraine. And so let us use this time to just pray. I have a song that is a beautiful rendition of Make Me a Channel of Your Peace from one of my favorite Christian artists. I invite you to listen to the words.
Keep me an instrument of your peace. Where there's hatred, let me sow love. Where there is joy, let me bring your name. And Lord, make me strong by your peace. Where there is despair, let me bring you home. Where there is storm, bring your joy. Oh, see my soul to be consoled, as to console, to be understood, as to understand, so to be loved. Yes, not another who believes that we now see. It is in harmony that we are now one. It is in harmony. Let me in your Can you guess if one of sorry.
Good evening. Can you hear me? Yes or no? Okay. My outside voice. My name is Pastor J.R. Atkins. I am at Grace United Methodist Church, kind of on the east side of town. And then I also shepherd a church in Pine Bluffs. So I know I-80 between Pine Bluffs and Cheyenne very well. I got to know a rabbi here this past April through the Wyoming Interfaith Network. I was hunting funding for a program I was doing and got introduced to that and was told that over a 9-month program, I'd get to visit the state and meet various faith leaders and religious leaders and spiritual people. We just finished that a couple of weeks ago. It was very good. I got to come and be a part of worship service one night. I still see some people that I met. It was so nice and felt welcome and feel welcome tonight. So my comments will be brief. In 2017, I got to live in Bethlehem. So I was in seminary. I got funding for a 3-month time period to go over and study pastoral care in a cross-cultural context. Sounds pretty highfalutin. That meant it was an Arabic-speaking church, Christian church that I was serving in. And like many Americans, I arrived prepared to solve the problems. And oh my gosh, I was put in my place gently. But I'm visiting with, Daoud, a friend, and he's in conflict and and I meet a Rabbi Schlesinger and he's doing ministry work. And the rabbi says, if you could just get me together with Daoud, I think we could make friendship. And, he's living in a settlement and he's living in his land. And I was put in my place. I'll shorten the story to just tell you that what I left with was a couple of points. It is complicated. It is beyond my understanding and imagination. It's deeper than what I can come up with possible solutions. But I don't lose hope. I was taught there are 3 things that I can do that we're doing part of here tonight. 1, whatever faith or religious tradition, pray. Number 2, love or approach with love. It is so easy in our human nature to think someone's different, weird, whatever, and we will turn the other way if we don't make a point of choosing love. And then the 3rd is be in conversation. There are plenty of people that are going off of sound bites or just saying whatever they've heard repeated. And it is our job here to go below that. And I'll give you a clue. Ask someone what's important about, and then fill in the blank. What's important about Israel to you? What's important about peace to you? And that can help us get beyond that stuff up top. And with that, I have a short poem that was written by Rabbi Erwin Keller about peace. If you'd like to follow along, it's written there. Today, I'm taking sides. I'm taking sides of peace. Peace which I will not abandon, even when its voice is drowned out by hurt and hatred, the bitterness of loss and the cries of what is right and what is wrong. Now I'm taking the side of peace, whose name has barely been spoken in this winnerless war. I will hold peace in my arms. I will share my body's breath, lest peace be added to the body count. I will call for de-escalation, even when I want nothing more to get even with someone. I will do it in the service of peace. I like this next line. I will make a clearing in the overgrown thicket of cause and effect so that peace can breathe for a minute and reach to the sky. I will do what I must to save the life of peace. I will breathe through tears. I will swallow my pride. I will bite my tongue. I will offer love without testing the deservedness of the other person. So don't ask me to wave a flag today unless it's the flag of peace. Don't ask me to sing an anthem or a song unless it's the song of peace. And don't ask me to take one side over another unless it is the side of peace. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Douglas Fowler. Been on the Interfaith Council for several years, representing the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. We've have a wonderful group here, and we appreciate this evening for Rabbi Hoffman, for Dr. Bloomberg, Dave Lerner, allowing us to use this beautiful sanctuary to have this individual.
I'm gonna do something to you because people are not hearing you.
That's probably better if we don't.
No. Well done.
Sorry for the interruption.
Okay,
Well done.
thank you. Dave always takes good care of us. In this situation we find ourselves in, looking for peace and comfort, we find in this world that we have a Heavenly Father, and we are all His children, and we're brothers and sisters. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't understand that or treat people as they would. Last Monday in our Interfaith Council meeting, Rabbi Haffen gave this prayer, and it struck me so profoundly. I asked to receive a copy of it, and I would just like to offer it this evening. I can't make the world be peaceful. No, I'm not sure. Okay. I can't make this world peaceful. I can't stall tanks from roaring down the roads. I can't prevent children from having to hide in bunkers. I can't convince the news to stop turning war into a video game. I can't silence the sound of bombs tearing neighborhoods apart. I can't turn a guided missile into a bouquet of flowers. I can't make a warmonger have an ounce of empathy. I can't convince diplomats to quit playing truth or dare. I can't deflect a sniper's bullet from turning a wife into a widow. I can't starve off a schoolyard being reduced to ash and rubble. I can't do any of that. Because the only thing I can do is love the next person I encounter without any conditions or strings. To love my neighbor so fearlessly that it starts a ripple that stretches from one horizon to the next. I can't force peace on the world, but I can become a force of peace in the world. Because sometimes all it takes as a single lit candle in the darkness. Start a movement. O Spirit, let me be a candle of comfort in this world. Let me burn with peace. It was by Vladimir Kush, The Candle 2.
Hello, everyone.
I'm gonna help you along. Just bear with me for a moment.
Can you hear me? My name is Noah Mantaka. I am a member of the congregation of Mount Sinai Synagogue. I need to say I'm a proud member. I'm not a good speaker. I'm not good in speaking for a big crowd, but I will do my best. I have experience of being in a military. I hope it's a moral military. The most moral military, the most human military that care for everyone. The IDF care about his soldiers and care about the enemy. This military will do everything to save lives. And I was in a unit that's supposed to save the life of who? Of the enemy. Of sitting in very cold places, up hills, in the borders, inside places, and just checking about the enemy when he will be alone, with no kids, with no wife, alone, to take him out that he will not harm any other innocent people. You know, in every house, we have toilet. Every place, you have toilet. Sometimes the toilet gets clogged and you need a plunger to take it. Sometimes the toilet is too clogged. You need a snake to unplug it. And sometimes you need to take a big bulldozer and dig out the whole system and build a new one. You don't have a choice. And you know what I mean. Here, my daughter, think about people getting inside our comfort zone house and doing really bad things. What aggravating me, yes, the bad things that happened, but more, we are in a Democrat state. And I see in New York, in places, people that never been in the conflict, just hearing from the media, which media they choose to hear from, and they're picking a side, and they're going against the right thing to do. Because what should we do as an Israeli when someone gets inside our house and do very bad things? There's no choice. And still there, 3 weeks, and they have the patience. And with all the criticize, when they're going in, they have the patience to wait that innocent life will not get harmed. What I want to say here as an Israeli, as a former IDF soldier, is for who hearing it, you know, you don't need to pick a side, because you will not go to a jail
and start to protest to take a rapist away from the jail, or someone that did murdering away from the jail. Never mind what the circumstances is, the murder. They did something bad, they need to stay in jail. No one will go and protest against it. And here we have people that going and protesting against something that's the right thing to do. And they don't have an answer when you ask them, what should we do? They don't have the right answer. Yes, I went through a lot in my life, in bad and in good. I'm a peacemaker. I'm for peace. But for peace, you need two people. For tango, you need two to dance. When you don't have the right partners for peace, it's very hard to make a peace. I want to say thank you for all of you guys, the people from the churches that came and supported us. It's very warming, and really thank you so much. And just, yes, let's make peace, but let's make the right peace, the correct peace, the good peace, not the peace that get break after something, you know, I don't know. Thank you, everyone.
Oh, I'm batting cleanup, and let me get the mic on here. And then we'll sing a song to part. Again, I want to acknowledge or apologize. For example, the piece that Doug read, I buggered a little bit because I was trying to get the justification on there. So thank you for having the original. It falls to me to both do the good and the bad, and not the ugly. But I'll start with the difficult. You've all seen the images, perhaps depending on which station you watch or what you get on your Facebook page. And so I want to share some positive stories as well, but they're coming up. Noam spoke very eloquently, and I think about the two beautiful children and Abby, you know, and his kids also in Israel, the other kids he has. And think about the children that you have, and think about elderly folks. I'm up there too, but think about people who really could not defend themselves, and the different kibbutzim that were around the Gaza Strip area. A kibbutz, as you know, is a farm community, but you may not realize that near there in Ashkelon and some of those areas, there are a lot of folks that live like here, elderly folks, the women who you read about, a couple of Holocaust survivors, and they had caregivers. Some of those caregivers were Thai or from other places in the Middle East. They were killed as well. This was not just Jews that were killed or slaughtered or taken as kidnapped victims. For us as Jews, yes, this also brought back memories, both memories of the Holocaust or memories from our ancient past of horrible things, you know, that were done during the Crusades, during the pogroms in Russia, that were as barbaric, if not more, but this same kind of slavery. And this is not a freedom fighting group. These were barbaric people who set out to do evil, as Noam says. So I want to read this poem. It's on page 2, and this is one of many. I had planned, and again, this is just a technical thing you might want to look for. There are various websites and posts of the 200 or so kidnapped victims, the children, the elderly. I was going to put that on here too. This poem speaks for them, I hope. And this is dedicated to the memory of Liron Barda, who chose to stay and save other people's lives, and then she was killed. And when they came in droves on the chariots of hate, she's the one who stayed with no weapon in her hand, without any protection, only healing power, the power of love. And she could, but she didn't run away. She chose to be the one that stayed, taking care of the wounded, saving lives, and she will be the one left in those who at the last moment became loved. And time will pass and time will return in the eye of the storm, and after her attackers follow the path of fire, may their memory be erased from the face of the earth. She will be the one that stays. Because fire may take a life, but it can't burn out the flame in those who at the last moment became love. And time will pass and time will return. Again, I may have buggered that, so I'll look for it. So I want to share with you just a couple of strange, ironic, popular things that you may not have heard about. I was in Israel in July. I speak fluent Hebrew. As I said, compared to Noam, who lived there, fought there, and our other friend Matani, other Israelis in town, I'm just a guy who knows French well, right? They fought in the Battle of the Marne. You know what that was, World War I. But I love Israel and I spent time there, and I came during a strange, interesting time. The present government is not very popular right now. So, but you want to know something? The same people who were protesting out in the streets, hundreds of thousands of people every week, and a group called Brothers and Sisters in Arms, who were reservists, right? Who were out there protesting. Immediately, within 24 hours, or even sooner, maybe 10 hours, they had reorganized the entire network of these WhatsApps and networks and cell phones, and they are arranging civil social services for people. You need a home to stay in. You need somebody to come and take care of your elderly person. You need someplace to stay in the South and the North. People in the South, needed to go somewhere. People in the North now, because of the possibility of Hezbollah, anybody goes and they stay. It's like a huge network. So I even saw a video of an entire building in Tel Aviv that's set up like a social work setup, with people answering phones. What do you need? So the silver lining is that the Israeli society that was divided has now, by force, actually come together. Another colleague of mine, Rabbi Simcha Daniel Burston, lives in the South, near Eilat, where the surfing and the scuba diving is. And his kibbutz is right down there, and he is a regional rabbi for the different settlements up there. He's a he's a rabbi like me, but he's in the reform movement. Okay, so already, some of you, there is a deep divide in Israel between the ultra-Orthodox and the reform. So several of the kibbutzim that were attacked were reform or liberal or even secular kibbutzim, right? People are farmers. They had to do funeral services. So the Orthodox community said, like right now, that's the women's side, that's the men's side, and there's a line down the middle. They said, come and do your funeral services in our synagogue. We're taking down the mechitza. You know what that means? It's like for Catholics, say, come into our church, all you Protestants. We don't mind. So that was an incredible miracle. The other thing that Simcha wrote about is that these settlements, Nachal Oz, Be'eri, all these places are bereft of members. In one or two places, Nachal Oz was the one I was thinking of, there were 400 members. Now there are less than 100, because 100 were killed, 200 were taken as hostages. Who's going to milk the cows? Who's going to take care of the chickens? Who's going to bring in the crops? People came to those kibbutzim and started saying, what can I do? How can I help? So you don't go out of business. So there are some lights in the darkness. I don't know, none of us know, and this first page has a series of readings, which we didn't read. And I suppose I could start the way Rabbi Angela Buchdahl did in Central Synagogue in New York. Some of you may have seen her sermon. She started out her sermon by saying, pretty much the way Todd did, there are no words. There simply are no words. We can only pray for, not just pray, we can really believe, we can articulate here what they are articulating there. To come together. Wasn't that John Lennon? Come together. So the last thing I'll say is that as you all know, it has had repercussions here at home. Hopefully, we will find out that the president of the synagogue in Detroit was not killed due to anti-Semitism, but she was stabbed to death. But that young man, that Palestinian child, a baby and mother in New York, Chicago was killed out of hatred. We cannot let that hatred spill over here or there or the Ukraine or anywhere. So I sometimes say to my congregation, it feels as though there's a vast group of humanity, vast swath of people of all faiths and backgrounds who have evolved beyond war, beyond killing, into I love you because I am different from you. And I will not fight with you. I will solve my problems. I will solve this conflict that we're having without violence. And there's a whole other group of humanity, and you know who they are. I promised not to talk about politics, but there are people who are just trying to drag us back into the pit of the caveman mentality. So, as it says, this is Rabbi Sharon on the first place, allow yourself to be at a loss for words. The speechlessness we feel in the face of what we have witnessed is a sign of our humanity and our humility. I know Sharon, a colleague of mine from rabbinical school. So don't answer like you said, somebody said, you can't answer every question simply. There are no simple answers. But the best answer is to be peace. So the song we're going to close with is on the back page. It's written by Rabbi Menachem Creditor. And it's a simple word, again, in Hebrew and English. And I invite you to sing it with that intention that, we can change this world of ours. So the word world in Hebrew is olam, or it can also be universe. Olam, chesed. Chesed translates more or less as loving kindness. Very Jesus-y, very, pure love. Yibaneh, so a world of loving kindness we shall build. So then he did a translation of it, and it goes through a series of it. I will build this world from love. You must build this world from love. And if we build this world from love, then God will build this world from love. Like I said, only 3 words in Hebrew. Olam. Here's the hard part. Ya la 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 la. What's that hard part? Olam chesed yipaneh. Na 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 na. Same words, a little higher. Olam chesed yipaneh. La 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 la. Oh, la na. See, with scat you can do na 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 la la la, ay ay ay, boom boom boom, whatever. It's Jewish jazz. I will build this world from love. Na 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 na. Get a little bit stronger with it. I will build this world from love. Na 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 na. And you must build, and you must build this world from love. Na 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 na. And laughing is good now. And if we build this world from love, na 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 na, then God will build. Then God will build this world from love. Na 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 na. You can continue singing as we file out. And I said, you know, come in silently. We don't have to leave silently, but there's no nosh, sorry, like I said, no food, but you're welcome to mingle out in front. Here we go. Olam chesed yivane. I want to thank the CIC, all of our ministers and God folks. I want to thank Sheriff Kozak for coming. Thank you. And thank everybody else. I will do this world from God. Oh, da, 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 da. And you must do this world from God. Da, 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 da. And it will from God. Da, 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 da. Thank you at home, then you, God will build this world from love. Da, 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 da.
Thank you.
Stay in touch with your friends, hug your children and your grandparents and your neighbors. Thank you so much and bless you.
Thank you.
What to do with the world of intelligence?